All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our group. I'm really glad that we are all here again today. So for today, we're going to be doing a little activity, and kind of our session is going to be titled My Strength and My Story. Okay, so we're going to focus on what makes each of us strong and unique, because everyone has something special that they bring to the table, and today we're going to be sharing that. And the way that we're going to start doing that is we're going to be telling a story about the item that I told you guys to make sure that you had brought with you whenever you come to session today, and that's going to kind of talk about our strength a little bit, okay? All right, so just a reminder that this is a safe space where we listen, we support, and we respect each other. And this is also a confidential space. And what we say here stays here, unless, of course, there is a concern that you may hurt yourself or others. And then, of course, I would have to report that, okay? Is everyone okay? And do you agree with our safe space today?
Yes.
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 All right, so let's go ahead and start. Before we get started with our things that we brought, I want to just start by kind of coming up with a few strength words together. And you guys can just kind of shout those out to me. I'm going to be taking notes, so you'll see me kind of writing some down, okay? So when you kind of think of personal strengths, I know one that kind of pops into my mind is kindness. So, what do you guys think of whenever you think of personal strengths or words that count as personal strengths?
Ambitious.
Okay, ambitious. It's a great one. Okay, anybody else?
Brave,
Brave,
resilience
resilient.
or resilient.
All right. So these are all really, really good. I'm going to keep these for later. We might kind of come back to these if we have a little bit of time later, okay? All right, so now what I want us to do is I want us to kind of take turns, and I'll go first to kind of model for you guys kind of the story and how we're going to present our items that we brought today in a little story, okay? So what I brought today, it's kind of funny, but this is my little whisk attachment because I love to bake and cook. And one of the things that strength kind of helps me to strengthen even more is when I get really overwhelmed or things are just going through my head, going through everything, and I just need to be with me. That's what I do. So I get my trusty old little mixer and I decide what it is that I'm going to make. And I just kind of, calm my nerves, calm my head. And while I'm doing that, and that kind of brings out the strength that that kind of resembles for me. And that is the self-awareness part of knowing like when I need to go bake. Now, it might not be the best thing for my waistline, but it's going to be the best thing, to be able to calm my nerves and really just kind of bring out that quiet time in me to be able to process the things that are going through. So my word that I connect with my whisk is going to be that self-awareness. Okay. All right. So we're just going to kind of take turns, and I want to give you guys some open space to be able to share the item that you brought and also the story behind it. Does anybody want to volunteer to go first? All right, that is all right, Althea, that is great. Let's go ahead and start with you, and you can show us your item and kind of talk about um, the meaning from it.
All right, so I brought this little bear here. This bear kind of represents being adventurous. I can kind of like, I guess, connect with what you're saying. Like whenever, you just kind of want to escape, want to get away from like stress, anxiety, and feelings like that. For me, when I'm out in nature, I go on an adventure, it helps me feel like so much better. It helps me like forget about like all these different things that are going on in my head. So yeah, I like to just go out there, find some adventure, and just forget about the things that stress me out.
That's awesome. So I know you kind of gave us a little background before you came in, and I know you're kind of on an adventure right now. How has your bear kind of been your strength this week?
Well, every time I look at it, it reminds me that no matter how difficult the week is or how overwhelming I feel, I know that like I have an adventure lined up for me at the end of the week.
Awesome. Definitely leaves you something to look forward to and something to be ready for. That's awesome. I love how you kind of brought that out and it just connects with even more of what we already know about you and your adventurous side. So thank you so much for sharing that. All right, Jess, do you want to go next?
Yes, I can go next.
All right.
So I brought with me nerd clusters. So this may just seem like nerd clusters, but they remind me a lot of my daughters. It's like our go-to like trip snack, or if we're like stressed or mad, we kind of like these are always our go-to. And so for
Mhm.
me, it's not just nerd clusters, it's like okay, this is like our thing. Like we're mad or frustrated, like we'll just kind of like scoot this and it's kind of like our icebreaker. And yeah, and they're super good. Like sometimes I'd also like to have these with me all the time. Um because I'll like sometimes I'll just like panic because of all the work I have and stuff. So like these help me like kind of like just get out of that space, kind of. So nerd clusters.
Okay, so whenever you think of those nerd clusters, like what strength word really like pops into your head whenever it comes to those?
So I guess it's like a multi-answer in the sense that like okay, like they're my comfort
Mhm.
and but they also remind me of my daughters. More than anything, they remind me of my daughters. So it's like when I feel like things are getting too hard or like I feel like I'm drowning in a glass of water, I know like I need to snap out of it, eat a nerd cluster, and like I know that like what I'm doing for them. So there's that.
Gotcha. Okay. I like how you're connecting it to your daughters and how
Yeah.
that strength word would really be like
Yeah.
comforting and those nerds and I really kind of connect with you on the gummies because my one of my go-to snacks is red vines and so same type of thing. So I like how you brought in those nerds. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, Amanda, you are up.
Hey, I guess one of the things that gives me strength, or I'm proud of, is this golden bell, that it was an award to me, from a student that graduated, but I had her in first, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade. She was one of my special needs students. But there's a couple students and teachers in the district that if a student really wants to, they can write an essay. And granted, she was special needs, so this really took her a while. And then it's presented to you at the end of the year. So I thought that was really sweet that she gave me this award. So I think for me, it kind of helps me keep going when I get really discouraged. I think, oh gosh, this was a bad day. I'm not making a difference in these kids' lives. And, or they've moved on to, middle school and then high school, they just fly away and you don't know. But then, you get something like that and you realize that, they still remember you. You still had an impact on them. So, but yeah, it helps me to keep going when I'm having a bad day. So maybe um resilience, maybe.
I like that. Okay. But I think it also really shows like the impact that you've had with people, like you said, you could also be impactful and resilient and things like that. So that's really good. Um, so do you think having your um, symbols of strength with you, do you think that kind of shows you, have you guys used any of those strength this week? Like, do you, as you're thinking back and you're talking about it, have you seen that strength in yourself come up this week? And if you have, would you like to share a little bit?
I have with being resilient with
Mhm.
the work. With these two classes, yeah, I've been ready, like to just, I'm done. But I'm like, okay, if I just keep going, not much longer, I can't stop now, but I've got to just keep going because I know at the end there's going to be a reward. So, yeah.
Oh, yes, a big one. A very big one.
Yeah, big
Yes.
deal.
Yes, and each week that you push through, it's like another week has passed and another week has passed. So yes, definitely continue to be resilient because with that, you're definitely going to get to where you need to be. All right. So I really appreciate you guys bringing the things that you brought to share and really kind of talking a little bit, about how that connects and how you are really like tuning into the strengths that you have and you're able to share stories. One of the things that I want to kind of move into a little bit now is I want to do and just kind of what's called a strength match round. So we're going to continue to, think about strengths and things that, we find in each of us. But what I would like to do for this one is I want to kind of think about everybody sharing and the stories and things that were shared with us today. And I'm going to say a couple of strength words. And what I would like for you guys to do is shout out a name of one of our group members that has kind of showed that, whether it's been in this group today or if it's been in, a previous session that we've had, and just kind of share, how you've seen that strength within that person. Okay, so I'll kind of go first. I'm going to use the word, let's see, I'm going to say supportiveness. Okay, so that's a very big strength that I see a lot whenever we do our group. And Althea, you're one of the ones that I feel like is always very supportive in the things that that we're doing and the way that you set up Zooms for us or whatever it may be. So that's a strength word that automatically I connect to you and I connect to the things that that you bring to this group and that you bring to everything that we kind of do as far as as far as our group goes and just different things. Okay, so that supportiveness, I definitely connect with you. So I'm just going to shout out some more. They might be ones that we've kind of talked about before or that we mentioned earlier, and you guys are more than welcome just to kind of chime it in and shout it out and kind of just explain a little bit about why that person has exhibited that strength. Okay, all right, let's go with kindness.
Jessica, yeah, she just seems so sweet and yeah.
Thank you.
I agree. She's very kind and like very, like when you meet someone and they're like just so nice, like
Mhm.
you can easily have a conversation with them. You don't have to
Yeah.
feel like you have to hide yourself from them. It's just you can be open. Yeah.
I agree. I agree with everybody. All right, let's try another word. Let's do ambitious.
Althea.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's always, I mean, I think she's working on next week already, so,
Yeah.
All right. How about empathetic?
Mm,
I feel like that's all of us in a way because everyone's very understanding towards each other. And whenever we seem worried or something, like someone always has something very positive to say. So I think it's all of us.
yeah.
All right. I know it was mentioned earlier. Let's say brave.
Amanda,
Yeah.
because you're taking pre-practicum and this one.
at the
I
same
was dying in
time.
the pre-practicum.
Yeah.
At the same time. That's an even bigger part right there. At the
Oh,
same time. Yes.
that's-
All right, awesome. So just kind of hearing others recognize our own strengths kind of really kind of helps us to see ourselves a little bit more clearly. Um, but before we finish, I do want to take a minute for you guys to kind of take just a couple of seconds. And I want you to think about one strength, and it could be something that was mentioned today. It could be something that that you recognize within yourself already. But I want you to think of one of those strengths, and what I would like for you to do is, you don't have to say it out loud. I just want you to kind of carry it with you this week. And I want you to try to use it either at home or at school or, wherever you may be, and just really kind of be, I guess, self aware of when you are exhibiting that strength so that you can kind of see a little bit more of those strengths within yourselves. Okay. So just kind of carry that word with you this week and think about that often as you go on about your week, okay? All right, and you all shared really such thoughtful and meaningful stories. I love how the bear connects to your adventure, and those nerds are, remind you of your daughter, and it's your go-to when you need that comfort as well. And then Amanda, that bell and that award, it's awesome. I mean, the way you can still think about all of the kids and everything like that just by looking at that bell is something that's very meaningful. So I just want to make sure that you guys continue to use those strengths, and it's a lot of times easy to forget um, that our strengths are often in the small things that we do every day. So make sure that you guys continue to think about that. And what I would like to do to close today is I would like to for you guys to think of one word that describes how you're feeling today after hearing each other's stories, and also just hearing the things that we've kind of talked about in group today. And if you would kind of share that one word and then kind of tell us why you feel that way, what helped you to feel that way, and just kind of be able to share that. So I'll go first. The word that really comes to mind for our session today is grateful, because you guys were, sharing, and everybody was uplifting in their stories and kind of opening up. And I'm just very grateful for, our group time together.
I would say I feel supported. I feel like, I'm not alone. I have people that have my back and I have their back as well. And like we're all in it together. And no matter what obstacle comes our way, we all just help each other out. And yeah, like we help each other feel like we got this, like we can get through anything that gets thrown our way.
Awesome. Great word.
I also feel supported. Like I feel like I can send y'all a quick message and all three of you would get back to me and, give me some information or whatever. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Jess?
I would say like how we're like perseverance, like we're just persevering right now. Um,
That'd
I
be
think
awesome.
we're doing great though. I feel like I'm drowning, but then I always feel like that. But like you said, like the weeks are going by and it's like we're going through the motions, and I think that's what we're feeling right now is the motions.
Yeah. Motion
Yes.
sickness.
Lots of emotions going through. Yes, absolutely. All right, ladies. Well, I want to go ahead and close session for today, and just remember that strength word that you're carrying with you, and make sure you kind of see how often that comes up this week. And whenever we meet the next time, we'll kind of talk about, those words and how they impacted you and the things that you did for the week. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, ladies.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you next time.
All right.
Okay.
That was really good. I liked it.
It's very good.
That's
I
good.
feel like I have like everything in my head, and then I like start going and I'm like, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like whenever I go, like I have like some notes here that I'll like refer, and then I'm like, I'm going too fast. I still
Yeah.
have this much time left. Oh my gosh. But it's
Yeah,
okay. Practice makes perfect.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Doesn't
Yes.
have to be perfect.
Yeah.
We're learning as we go.
Yes.
All right, let me take a sip of water. All right, so before I get into it, I think I had told you guys if y'all could have like a paper or something to write with.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's gonna be like one or two activities that I'm gonna be doing, so that way, like, yeah, that's why you're gonna use it. Okay. All right, does everyone have their stuff with them?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started now. All right, hi everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's having a really good day, a really good week. And if not, it's okay. Hopefully, after this meeting, we feel a lot more empowered. We feel a lot better to take on the rest of this week. So, first and foremost, my name is Altia Ramon, and I just want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to come and meet here. I understand that we're all middle school students and we're, feeling a little bit mixed. We feel excited, but also feel a little bit, nervous and scared about transitioning into high school. Is that why we're here today? We
Yeah.
feel a little bit mixed up. It's okay, all right? In this session today, I'm gonna help you guys feel a lot better, make you feel a little bit more motivated, and not be afraid to move on to this next chapter in your lives, okay? All right, so before we get into it, I do want to talk about informed consent, talk about confidentiality and its limitations, just a reminder from our meetings from last time. So again, this means that everything that we share in our meetings stays between us. So nothing that we talk about here is going to be shared with anybody outside, unless, of course, there are indications of self-harm, harming others, mentioning, suicidal thoughts, things like that. Then that will be reported to the proper authorities. But other than that, everything will stay between us. It's confidential, meaning again, nobody will hear or talk about what we talked about today. Okay, again, this is a safe space. There's no judgment here, so feel free to ask questions, stop me at any time, and talk about anything that's on your mind. Okay, so if I can get a thumbs up or a yes, I understand, so that way we're good and I have y'all's informed consent. Yes? Okay, awesome. All right, so again, middle school, high school, what are some of the differences that you guys know about the two of them?
There's a lot more kids in high school.
A lot more kids in high school, right? Okay. What else?
A lot more classes, I think.
Okay, a lot more classes. Okay.
The
Mm,
classes are longer.
okay, longer classes. All right, so with that, how do we feel with that information that we just heard right now? More kids, longer classes, more classes. How do you guys feel
Just
about
sounds like more,
Stress.
more, more.
that? Okay. All right. Well, sometimes, even though it sounds overwhelming, you never know. It could be something really, really cool. In high school, you guys have a lot more opportunities for you guys to pick and choose classes that align with your interests. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get into that later in the session. But for right now, I wanted to ask you guys, aside from what you've heard about the differences between middle school and high school, what are some reasons you guys feel stressed and anxious about moving on to high school?
I
Well, we have to
don't
pass.
know everybody there.
Okay, we don't know everybody there.
Mhm.
What else?
Well, if the classes are harder and longer, then that's a lot more work.
Okay, so that's still kind of like in our heads, more work, it's gonna be more stress, okay? Anything else?
The kids are older, so I know I'll be with like older kids, and I don't know if they'll be like mean or accepting.
Okay, and just know that you guys, your feelings are valid. And again, you're not alone. There are so many kids in your situations that feel the exact same way. As a matter of fact, there was a 2019 study that said about 70% of teenagers feel anxious or depressed about going from middle to high school. So some of the factors that contribute to those feelings in those students actually come from what you guys have said. So I want to say good job. You guys did point out a couple factors. But some other factors that were noted were academic pressure, social adjustment, increased workload, and one of the major reasons is uncertainty. Do you guys know what uncertainty means? Yeah, right. We're not certain about what to expect. We have no idea, we're going to walk in there, have no idea what to do, who to talk to. It sounds like it's going to be a mess, but just know that we will take it step by step, day by day, and get to it when we get to it. Okay, so one thing that I do want to talk about today to kind of help us feel a little bit better about moving from middle to high school is focusing on some of our strengths. Okay, so the last time we met, I went ahead and told you guys to bring something to write with, something to like draw. It could be a sheet of paper, sticky note, anything like that. So does everyone have their materials with them? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me get mine. So I have a journal and my pen here. So what I want you guys to do, just to take a quick moment, is on your sheet of paper, I want you guys to draw yourself and like, a little stick figure. Okay, so take a couple seconds to kind of draw yourself, little stick figure. Doesn't have to be super detailed, just something that represents you. All right. Does everyone have their little stick figure then?
Mhm.
Yes? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So around that stick figure of yourself, I want you to write 3 strengths that you think that you have. Okay, so take a moment to kind of think about what are some strengths that maybe your friends, your family, or even in yourself that you are aware of. Okay, so take a couple moments, no rush. Take some time and write them around your stick figure. All right. Everybody ready?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys should have something that looks like this, your stick figure and some strengths around. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and model for you guys what I would like for us to do for this activity. So that way, after I finish speaking, we can move on and we can all hear about the strengths that we chose to talk about ourselves. Okay. So for my stick figure, I went ahead and listed ambitious, caring, and expressive. So the reason that I think I'm ambitious is because I really set a lot of goals for myself and I work really, really hard to try to get them done. For example, whenever I'm given homework or work, I just go ahead and get ahead as much as I possibly can. And I also have my planner here that I write down everything that I need. So that way I have a clear picture of what I want to do to get to where I want to be. I also went ahead and talked about being caring because I feel that a lot of people describe me as somebody who's very caring. For example, some of my students, my family members, my friends, they say that I'm very empathetic, for example. I show up for those that I love and I care about. And then lastly, I went ahead and described myself as having the strength of being expressive. So being expressive um, I like to make music, for example, on the side whenever I'm not doing work, whenever I have free time, I'll go ahead and write some lyrics, I'll go ahead and record some music and just express myself, whatever I'm feeling to help me feel better. So those are my 3 strengths: ambitious, caring, and creative. So now whoever wants to volunteer next can go ahead and show us your drawing, your strengths, and talk a little bit why you chose those strengths. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes. Okay,
Mm.
so go ahead, whoever wants to volunteer, y'all can get started.
I
Okay, I'll
know.
go. Oh, go ahead, Amanda.
Okay, all right, let's hear it, Amanda.
I put friendly, honest, and people are always saying this about me. I'm calm during a crisis. So actually, I'm calm all the time. I don't know why, but I'm friendly because I talk to everybody that I see. Even if I don't know you, I'll talk to you. Honest, I will say, what I think is best or what I believe, or if I disagree, but in a friendly way. And I think I'm calm during crisis just because, during school, I have to deal with so many crises a day. So I'm just very calm about that and about most things. So, or that's
Wow,
what my family says. I'm too calm.
those are some really good strengths. Thank you so much for taking the time to share. All right, who wants to go next?
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
Okay, so here's my little person. So on mine I have organized. I do calendar everything, planner everything, so I'm very organized. The other one is ambitious. I feel like I'm pretty ambitious in the things that I do and try to accomplish. And then the last one that I put was kind. I just feel like if you can't be anything, you can at least be kind, and that's something that I try to be every day.
Yes, that's awesome. That's very sweet of you to share. I love that. And lastly, Jessica?
Yes. Um, so I wrote, well, you can't even see it. Well, kind, because I've been told um here that I'm kind. My daughters might not say that about me, but um so yeah, no, but in general, yes, I am in the workplace and here. And I wrote perseverance because a lot of the times I do feel like I'm drowning. But then, once I like panic enough about it, and then you're like, okay, yeah. And then I just keep going. And then before you know it, you're on the other side and you're like, there, I did it. I did one more class. And then I wrote brave because I've always have found myself in difficult situations in life, and I've gotten myself out of it. So
Okay,
those are mine.
awesome. So thank you guys so much for sharing. So kind of take a moment to take in everything that we heard of all of our group members and their strengths. And I want you to kind of like think. I'm going to challenge you guys to think. How can you guys use the strengths that you identified within yourselves to help you and motivate you as you transition from middle school to high school? So kind of think about it in your head. And if you're ready to share, go ahead and share.
Think I can use organize to help me keep up with all the extra classes that I'll be taking.
Okay, that's good. And yes, having a planner can definitely help because, again, if you are going to be taking a lot of classes, maybe be a part of different clubs and organizations, having a planner and kind of writing down and visually seeing what you have upcoming for the day, for the week, can kind of help you feel a little bit more, calm. Instead of seeing it all in like a big picture, you're kind of breaking it down for yourself. So you can take it step by step and not make yourself feel super overwhelmed, stressed, and anxious. Okay, that's really good. What else?
I can use calm during a crisis, and since it might be a crisis. But yeah, just stay calm. It's not really a crisis, it's just a change. So, you know, it'll
Exactly.
be okay.
Sometimes change, it's good. It can be
Mhm.
scary sometimes, especially right now that you guys are middle schoolers, changes are literally everywhere when it comes to like the different teachers you have, your friend groups, the classes. Just know that change is necessary so that way we're able to grow and learn from it. So I really like that, staying calm. It kind of also aligns with being organized because again, if you're organizing what you have upcoming, it kind of helps calm you a little bit more instead of seeing everything kind of piling up and on you. And it also helps prevent from like, having like an anxiety attack, for example, because those are not fun. All right. And Jessica?
I think I'll stick to like kind,
Okay.
because I feel like if I could, like how Jessica said, if you can be anything, and especially like going to high school, you might feel like you're not something, but you could be kind, and maybe that'll rub off on to the right people and make friends that way.
Exactly. That's really good. And it kind of goes to what you guys mentioned at the beginning, how it's like new people, maybe older kids that are there. You don't know how it's going to work. Because once you get out of middle school, some people go to different high schools, and sometimes it makes it a lot more difficult to keep up with your friends. But I mean, at least there's still some kind of ways, maybe through phone, text, ways to kind of keep in touch. But if you're looking to make new friends in high school where you're at, being kind can definitely go a long way. So those are really, really good strengths that you guys mentioned. And I kind of want you guys to now keep that with you as you move on with our next session and as time goes on. So that way you guys can see that y'all have more power than you think you do. You have these strengths in you that once you have that self-awareness about them, you can use them to help you, motivate yourself and realize you got this. I can do this. I have been presented with so many difficult situations, but you have been able to overcome each of them every single time. So that's not going to change when you guys go to high school. You guys are still going to be able to persevere, move over, go over all those things that come your way, and you guys will be successful. Okay. All right. Do we have any questions before we continue? No? Okay. So really quick before we run out of time for this session, if you guys have space in your paper at the bottom, I want you guys to write down maybe 2 to 3 strengths that you would like to have. strengths that you would like to work on or wish you were better at. Okay, so take some time, think about what you want to work on. All right, so as soon as you guys have those strengths that you want to work on, you can go ahead and share.
Okay, well, I'll share one of mine. I wrote down brave. So I would like to be brave going to high school from middle school and just kind of be able to throw myself into different areas that I'm not comfortable with and just kind of be brave.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for sharing. Amanda?
I wrote down more outgoing and more of a risk taker.
Okay, awesome. And Jessica?
I wrote down staying calm. Although
Okay.
I might not look like I'm panicking, like in my head, I am panicking. So I think that's something that I need to work on, especially going into high school.
Okay, awesome. And I'll go ahead and share some of mine. I also wrote some of what you guys wrote as well. I want to work on being more social and being more calm in stressful situations. So again, guys, as you can see, y'all are not alone. Like I mentioned earlier in our session, over 70% of teenagers feel stressed and anxious from moving from middle to high school. 70% is a really big number. So imagine that. There are so many different factors, so many different reasons why stress and anxiety is present. But if we can focus on our strengths, focus on how we can use our strengths to help motivate us and help us feel a little bit, better about ourselves, feel better about the situation at hand, we'll be successful in transitioning from middle to high school. Okay, so before we officially run out of time, for next session, I want you guys to go ahead and bring your journal with you, something to write with as well. So that way we can continue working on refining some of the strengths that we talked about in this session, and also maybe even add some more to our list of strengths. Because now that you guys are aware of, being self-aware, self-awareness is really, really important. You'll be able to start pinpointing, okay, I have this strength, and this strength, but what else could I use to help me as I move on into this next chapter in my life? Okay, so for next session, please make sure that you guys bring a journal, something to write with, and some new strengths that you have in mind. And if you guys are having difficulty thinking about what strengths you might have, you can always ask, your friends, your family, see what kind of input that they have on you. Because sometimes some of the strengths that we have, we might not realize them until somebody else points them out. Okay, so that's something that I want you guys to take for homework. And I don't mean to add more to your plate, but just kind of take some time to do that throughout the week. So that way, next time we meet, we can discuss and talk a little bit more about that. Okay, so are there any questions before we end today's session?
I think so.
No.
No? Alrighty. So once again, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to join this session. And again, be reminded that this is a safe space, there's no judgment, and nothing that we said or did within this session will be shared with others. Okay, so I just want to give you guys that reassurance. And once again, we're all in this together. Okay, so thank you guys so much for coming in, and I am excited to see you guys next time.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think that was a good time. I don't
Did
know,
great.
it was 2021, so.
That's good.
Alrighty.
Um, who's gonna go next? I can go
Whoever wants
next.
to go next.
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, so y'all are going to be 4th and 5th graders. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I guess I'm good. I'm just gonna, we're still recording.
Yeah, it's
Oh, we're just gonna keep
Have to
recording through
continue
the
it.
whole.
yeah, so whenever we turn in the video, we
Yes.
have the timestamp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm Amanda. How is everybody?
Good.
Good.
Good. What's up? Good. Good. Um, so during our time together, we're going to talk about kind of things that are important to us. So it's important that we all feel safe to share. Okay. So we do have a rule that what is said here stays here. Okay. So it's pretty simple. Can everybody understand that and agree to that? Thumbs up, maybe. Yes. Good. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is you just need one piece of paper, just one piece of paper, and you're going to fold it into fourths. Okay. Or you don't have to, but you're going to make 4 boxes. Might be easier if you fold it into fourths. And on one of the boxes, you're going to write number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And this isn't a grade, so it doesn't have to be like super neat. All right. Is everybody ready?
Mhm.
Okay. This is the, it's called the 4-square activity. So in box 1, I want you to draw a picture of your proudest moment. And it's not art class, so it doesn't have to be a great drawing, just something that you're proud of, your proudest moment in box 1. Well, I guess I should do this too. Okay. And then in box 2, you're going to draw a picture of what makes or what mad looks like. What does mad look like to you, or what makes you mad? Either one. Okay. And then in the third box, draw a picture of the last time you felt guilty. The last time you may have felt guilty. And then in the fourth box, you're going to write or draw something that makes you happy. I'll give you just like a couple more seconds. Okay. So box one is your proudest moment. Does anybody want to share what they drew or wrote in their box one?
I
I'll go
will.
first. Okay.
My box one, I got an A+ on my paper for my teacher last week.
All right.
Yay.
Yeah, that would make you proud. In box one, I just drew not a good picture of my son. There he is when he was baby. Now he's all grown up.
Oh,
I'm proud of him. Anybody else want to say what they were proud of? If not, that's fine. Yes, at the
I also kind of talked about the same thing as Jessica. I wrote or I drew a picture of me getting an A+ on a
oh,
test. That was like really, really difficult. I studied and I just like
you
it just took
persevered.
everything out of me. And when I got that A+ on it, it made me so happy.
Oh, good. So you were proud.
Yeah.
I would be too.
I drew when I got hired. You can't tell, but
Oh,
it's because when I was applying to get a job 3 years ago as a teacher, I had gone to like 3 interviews at different high schools, and no one was calling me, and I just felt like so bad. But then I finally, when I got the call from HR, like that to me was like, oh my gosh, like finally, like I
yeah.
worked like to get the bachelor's, and then I did the student teaching, and yeah, like that was my top proudest moment.
That's so good. So it seems like all of our proudest moments is something that you worked really hard for and for a long time and you succeeded at that.
Yeah.
What's the second box? What mad looks like or what makes you mad? Usually we're talking about like all these positive feelings. So what makes you mad?
Just drew my mad emoji.
Me too. Something similar.
This one,
That's a good one.
is there like a background to it or just the mad emoji makes you mad or
Mad emoji.
For
okay.
me, I put a mad face and then like
A
the
bee.
so that makes me mad.
Yeah. I put animals. If anybody's like ever unkind to animals, that's one of the few times they get really, really upset and mad. So that's what I'll put that on that one. Jessica, do you want to show your mad or
Oh, I'm
no?
sorry. It was the same. Like it's just
Yeah.
someone screaming, someone just like looking mad, like they're doing too much.
Well, the last one, what makes you happy? Oh, wait. The three. Oh, we forgot the three. Three. The last time you felt guilty.
Okay, I'll show mine. I just did that. I ripped the library book.
Ah,
Broke it.
I dropped something and it broke.
oh.
And you felt guilty.
Mhm.
I ate the last ice cream sandwich out of the freezer and I knew everybody else wanted it, but I was tired, so I ate it.
I forgot my dog outside, and so I
Oh,
felt so bad because it's so hot here.
uh-huh. Oh,
And,
yeah. Those
yeah.
are some good things. And the last thing, what makes you happy?
I drew a picture of volleyball.
Oh,
Oh,
good. Volleyball makes you happy.
Drew a picture of my cat.
Oh.
She makes me happy.
I drew a picture of my daughters getting along.
And I forgot to put faces on my family. I did on my dogs though, but my whole circle here, they make me happy.
Oh.
So, So coming together to talk about our feelings helps us to learn about emotions and build our feeling words and our emotion vocabulary. And it also helps us better understand ourselves and understand that others have different emotions. So what sad looks like for me may not look sad for you. Okay. Or what I think is, oh, that's funny may not be funny to somebody else. So just take a moment to notice right now, like how you're feeling in this moment. Are you feeling more than one emotion, maybe? And can you identify any emotion that you're feeling right at this moment?
I'm feeling guilty because I ripped the book, and I remembered I ripped the book when I wrote it down.
Did you fix the book?
No, I just gave it back to the library.
That's okay. So she's still feeling guilty. I'm feeling a little bit guilty about the ice cream sandwich, but they haven't figured it out yet, so we're okay. So how do these emotions, whether it's guilty, maybe you're feeling a little uneasy or nervous or tired, do they show up in your body somehow? Can you feel anything?
Yes.
Mhm.
So if you're feeling more than one emotion right now, just take a few breaths to relax and just let that emotion go. Okay. Let the book go. So we are going to be talking about some feelings, okay? And sometimes they're easy to talk about, sometimes they're hard to talk about. But I'm going to read you some pretend scenarios. So after I read them, I want you to tell me how you would feel in that situation. Not what you would do, but what would you feel? Not what you think your friend would feel or what you think your friend thinks you should feel, but seriously how you would feel. Um so we'll just go around the circle. Um First, the few things to remember, we're going to listen when someone else is talking. We're going to be respectful, and everyone has the right to feel safe. And we are all a team, so we're all going to support each other. Okay. So, the first scenario is how would you feel if tripping and falling in class?
Embarrassed.
Embarrassed? Would anybody feel something different?
The end of the world.
Yeah.
I would
Really?
just hope that nobody saw that, but
Right.
within class, I'm sure everybody saw that.
Yeah, so I think this is a feeling that we're all familiar with is getting embarrassed, thinking, it is the end of the world now. We can't go back, but we'll get over it. How about you saw a firefighter risking his life to save someone who bullies you from a burning building?
Happy?
Happy with the question mark?
With a question mark.
Mixed emotions.
Mix of emotions, yes. What are some of those emotions you might feel?
Happy, but also like, why did you have to save the bully?
Yeah.
But
Maybe even a little worried for the firefighter.
Mhm.
Well, and I
Mhm.
guess the boy too, so okay. Um, your best friend started hanging out with someone else.
Mm.
I think a lot of us has experienced this being in 4th and 5th grade.
I'd feel sad, maybe jealous.
Yes,
Mad.
you'd be mad. So different emotions for different situations, and that's perfectly fine. Okay. You accidentally sent a private email message to a group email that included your principal.
Oh.
Worried.
Worried. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'd be worried trying to think about like what would my explanation be?
Right? Yeah.
Embarrassed.
Panicked, embarrassed.
Maybe I'd have to tell my friends to stop sending stuff to my work email.
Okay. Here, you discovered your favorite celebrity was following you on social media.
That would make my day.
That actually happened to me.
Really? How did you feel?
Ecstatic.
Really?
Yeah.
And you would be happy too. See, my feeling was like, why are they following me? Like, what has happened?
I like what made them follow me.
Right,
To
something
this day,
must have
um,
happened.
Mm.
What about, how would you feel if you discovered a chewed up piece of gum in your desk?
I mean, I would hope that it was mine at the very least,
You would hope it was yours, so yeah.
but I would be mad, especially like if I touched it, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably be disgusted.
Be disgusted.
Yeah.
Grossed out.
Unless it was mine, and then I'd be mad at myself for leaving it there.
How would you feel if everyone in the class failed a test except you?
Disappointed in myself.
No, you passed.
Oh, happy with myself.
Everyone failed except you.
Oh, I'd be like really happy. But
Mm-hmm.
then I would also feel somewhat like, wow, like everyone.
Everyone.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I would be confused.
Right.
What did I do? Or like, what did the other people? I don't know.
Happy and then confused and then, yeah, lots of
Mhm.
emotions. Okay. How would you feel if you knew you could never fail at anything ever again?
Ooh, relieved.
Would you?
I'd
Relieved.
be more of a risk taker.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't think too much. I would just be like, I mean, if I know I'm not gonna fail, I'll just do it.
Yeah. Would life get a little boring ever, you think, or no? Like,
Mm,
to
Oh,
me, I was thinking like, whoa, like why even try? I know I'm gonna do great. So
really wouldn't have any more challenges. It
no
would
more
just be like,
challenges
yeah,
ever.
true.
we wake up today.
And to
I'm not gonna
learn
fail.
from
Right, nothing's gonna
mistakes.
happen. Okay, you were given the opportunity to travel to space as a civilian astronaut.
Nervous.
Nervous?
Mm.
I don't think I would take the opportunity. I would be too scared, I guess.
Scared?
Yeah.
What about you, Jessica? Would you go?
I don't think so because how do you go to the restroom there?
Oh, there's ways.
I wouldn't be interested in
Maybe you'd go talk to them.
yeah.
I would be too scared. I couldn't go.
Yeah.
The kids love this one. You were given a pet monkey.
Oh,
Oh,
excited.
Excited?
I think it would be pretty cool, but then I would get kind of nervous because I wouldn't know what to do. Like, how do I take care of it? So,
Yeah. So excited, pretty cool, nervous.
mhm.
Just
nervous.
you were stuck in an elevator with a group of teachers for hours.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
Nope. I hear nope. So
Being
how
with
would
the teachers would be great, but stuck in that elevator is a no-go.
Yeah.
what would your feelings be?
Whew, um, very scared.
Very scared. Panicked, maybe.
Mm.
panicked, yeah. Getting claustrophobia.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bored, antsy. Yeah. You accidentally called your teacher mom in class.
Oh, that happens all the yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry.
So
I mean,
how
it happens. Like, whatever.
do you get embarrassed when you accidentally call your teacher mom?
Nah.
Nah,
Yeah.
everybody does it.
Yeah, I think everybody has done it at one point.
Mhm.
Yeah. You won $1 million, but couldn't share it or buy anyone gifts or anyone else.
Hmm. I mean, if I would just use it for like bills or something.
For real.
Would you be happy or?
I mean, I would be happy, but then I would be like, well, if I can't, share it with anyone who might, need it more than I do or something, then
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Good
feel
probably
conflicted.
yeah, confused.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A classmate who you don't know very well invites you to their house.
Hmm.
Cautious.
Cautious is a good
Yeah,
feeling.
I wouldn't feel too like confident in going because if I didn't really know them that well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nervous.
Nervous. You find a stray kitten.
Oh, cute.
I'd be
Um,
happy.
Happy?
Yeah.
I
I'd
tell you,
be worried.
I would be so stressed out because if I find a stray, I know I have to take it in, and I have 2 dogs, and I just wouldn't know what to do at that point. Okay, we have a couple more minutes. What about your family can't afford to get you the new shoes everyone is wearing this year?
Hmm. Maybe I would feel sad, but then I would understand, like, the situation, the circumstances.
Right.
Yeah. I think it would just feel like understanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the last one, it's pajama day at school.
Yes.
Happy, excited, okay.
Happy, excited. Yeah.
Happy.
See.
I know some kids last year were not happy at all, and we couldn't get them out. Well, they wouldn't come out of their own car. So, people have different emotions for different things. And you all did very well, and we had so many mixed emotions. Um, so what was it like sharing your feelings? I know for 4th and 5th graders, sometimes it's a little uncomfortable, but it was kind of a fun activity to get you all sharing your feelings and realizing that it's okay that you have different feelings than your friends do. Um, are there times when you don't want to share your feelings? When you just don't want to?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, what times at school or home do you need to share your feelings though? Is there a time that even if you don't want to, you should share your feelings with someone?
Maybe
Maybe
if I'm
I'm feeling
feeling
hurt.
stressed and anxious or
Maybe
something.
if yeah, you need somebody to talk to, you're stressed or anxious.
Mhm. Feeling hurt.
Or hurt.
See,
Do
I
you,
really would understand. Sorry.
no, you're good. That's good. Do your feelings affect your behavior sometimes?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. How might they affect your behavior?
If I'm mad, I might say something that might make somebody else mad just because I want them to feel my madness.
Yes.
Mhm.
Um, did everyone have the same feelings as you in the situations that we just went over?
Not all the time.
No. And is that okay?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even in the same situation, everyone will perceive and interpret um, that situation differently, compared based on their past experiences, their beliefs, and even what current mood they're in. So this is important to understand, so you can see things from a different point of view. So you could be respectful to others and be a good friend. So that's it. Unless you want to talk about your feelings anymore, but we'll thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really like the note cards. They're pretty
Yeah.
cool. Definitely
Mhm.
something to look into using in the future. I like that.
Yeah, I like the scenarios, definitely. Hmm.
They're
I tried to do
interesting.
them for fourth and fifth graders, so um,
Nice.
Nice.
Alrighty. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, here we go. I feel like I'm not gonna cover the time, but don't worry, I feel like I'll blabber away at one point. Um, hold on, guys. Ah,
do you want
Okay.
us to draw out our answers really slow?
maybe, maybe, but I'm gonna put my stopwatch and then
Mhm.
I'll see. No, but I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
You'll be
You'll
good.
be no worries.
Yes.
Yeah. Ah, okay. So before we start, we're high schoolers and we're like, um, not all-star kids, to put it in a nicer way.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm not really gonna come up with the objective, like I'm not gonna say the lesson, but it's part of the whole thing. Um, but yeah, it'll make sense. It'll make sense.
Okay.
Okay, let me put my timer so I don't go over. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Mauricio Lara. I will be your counselor for today. Um, so for today's activity, we are going to need a paper and pencil. I'm sure you guys have all of that already. And okay. Oh, before I start, I want to go over the confidentiality statement with you guys very briefly. So whatever we talk about in this group stays in this group. Um, we want everyone to feel safe and respected. However, if someone says something along the lines of hurting someone else or hurting themselves, I will have to report that to the appropriate authorities. And does everyone agree with that statement? Yes, awesome, guys. A few rules I want to cover before we start. I know we're high schoolers, and I just want everyone to respect everyone because that is the purpose of this group. Be kind and listen when others are talking. One person talks at a time, so someone's already talking, don't like interrupt them, let them finish. So again, what we say in this group stays in this group. We're not gonna go out and tell other like other friends in the hallway what so and so said in this group. Um, and we're just gonna be honest and try our best. And it's okay to share our feelings. Again, this is a safe space, and I want everyone to feel comfortable. Okay, so let's get started. I want you guys to think back over the last week or so when someone has commented positively on something you have done. So for example, for me, it could be something like small, like I made chicken Alfredo like I always do. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary for my menu that I make weekly. However, my daughter mentioned to me like how that was like really good. And that's what I kind of want you guys to like chime into is like when somebody says like, "Oh wow, like you're really good at that," or "Hey, I like how you did that." Those are what I want us to focus on. So I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit. I want you guys to write, make a list. If you can, do not feel pressured to give me tons of things, but at least try to aim for like 3 things if you can. If not, it's fine. Are we good, guys?
Mhm.
Awesome. So I just want you to think on I want you to think now whether at any of these moments you were surprised at receiving praise for these activities. I would like you now to put a check mark next to the items which people commented on positively, but you thought were an everyday thing. Okay, guys, so now we're gonna share out. Um, so my question to you guys is how did it make you feel to be praised for a particular task? Whoever's ready to share out, go for it.
I got praised for participating in PE, and it was kind of weird because I thought I always participate in PE. So
Okay. Althea?
I got praise for just being good at school, but I feel like that's just like my thing. Like I do my best in my work. I aim for straight A's. So whenever, people tell me like, "Oh, you did a good job," or like, "You're doing really good. You're really good at school." I'm like, that's just me. Like I just try my best. I don't really expect to get like praise from that, but I mean,
Mhm.
it feels nice to get it.
That's true. That, yeah, no, yeah, that shows that you're like working hard towards school, but to you, it's like an everyday thing.
Mhm.
Amanda?
I got praised for mopping the floor, which I always mop the floor. So I don't know, maybe because the dogs were muddy, and it was kind of extra messy, but yeah.
Mopping the floor. Okay, so helping around the house. Those are great. Okay, guys. So the reason why I asked you to think about these things is because we can maybe say like I can ask you guys what are your strengths and you guys will give me a list that you guys will like it's true like some of us might be good at basketball and like or we're good at playing football, but those are things that like people like already know and you might identify with, but I want us to kind of like go deeper into like the things that we don't see are like um our skill set, like part of our normal skill set. Um so that's kind of the purpose of this activity. But so my second question is how often um being complimented when you perform this task. So it could be a different task. Um but how often would you say you're complimented on doing a task or a skill or something?
not very often.
Not very often. Okay. So when you do receive like praise, does that make you feel good?
Sometimes a little weird.
A little weird. Okay. Althea.
Yeah, I would say the same. Like, whenever I do get it, like it does feel nice, but then it's kind of like this is just what I do every day. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, like it's a nice feeling. It's
Nice.
nice to see that, like, my efforts are being appreciated.
Yes. And Amanda?
No, it's nice. But then sometimes I'm wondering like why are you giving me this compliment? Like what is it that you that you need? You know.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, so when someone compliments you on something, like it might feel like, oh, like maybe that person wants something.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So is the task or the skill representative of something that you feel that you are skilled at? Could be a different skill from the ones you've mentioned before. But remember, we're trying to like think of the things that like the things that catches off guard and someone like is like, wow, like that was really good. And you're like kind of taken aback by it. Um, so is that task representative of something that you feel you are skilled at? What would you guys say?
I mean, I took a friend of mine over to my mom's house, for Mother's Day. And my mom has my paintings that I've painted all over the wall. And I've been friends with her for, gosh, 10 years now, but I don't paint anymore. And so,
Uh-huh.
yeah, she said, "Oh my God, I never knew you're such a good artist. You know, you need to sell these and you need to paint me a picture." But yeah, it was surprising that I'd kind of forgot about them all, but
That's great because sometimes we do forget. Sometimes we've left behind something that we love to do, and it just takes like a visit back and for someone to comment like, "Hey, that's really amazing, like your paintings." Um, that's amazing. Does anyone else want to share out?
Maybe like when people say like, "Oh wow, you're really nice and really like caring and stuff," but I feel like that's always been like my personality. Like I don't put up like a facade or anything like that. Like the way that I am is just the way that I am. So whenever people say like, "Wow, like you're so nice, you're so caring," I'm kind of like, "Oh, like is that like not normal?" Yeah.
No, that's good. And sometimes we do think that like if we get like not overly commented
Mhm.
or like receive praise like, oh, you're like really nice, you're easy to talk to. um it is a good skill and not a lot of people have those skills, so the fact that they're pointing them out to you is showing that like, yeah, like you're a great person. Jessica.
Um, well, just kind of like, like when you're getting praise on doing your work, and
Hmm.
it's just kind of like, why are you making such a big deal out of it right now when it's something that I try to do all the time?
Ah, yes. That's a good one. Yeah, because sometimes work is expected of us, like schoolwork or doing chores around the house maybe, and when you receive praise, it's showing that, yeah, like good job, keep it up. Especially as parents, we try to like overemphasize like, wow, you're cleaning your room or you're doing your homework. Okay, those are great, guys. Um, so let me see. What is something surprising that you learned about someone in this group so far?
That Amanda can paint.
Right, me too.
I was gonna say that too.
That's a good one. Okay, how does it feel to recognize your own strengths?
I think it feels cool because it's like you don't really think too much about them until somebody tells you to, or
Mhm.
until something, triggers you to do that. Because I don't like it's kind of weird. Like I know what I'm skilled at, I know what my strengths are, but for some reason, whenever somebody says like, "Oh, list three of your strengths or talk about them," I'm like, I don't know, I don't know what to say. It's
Yeah, no, yeah, that's great. Jessica.
Think it can kind of be reassuring, like you feel like you're like have that as a strength, but like when somebody else can see it, it's like, okay, yeah, that really is there. It's not just in my mind.
Right. And a lot of these things, like we kind of forget about them, like how Amanda, her, she used to paint and then like she kind of forgot about it for a while until someone commented on her paintings. That we have so many of those like storylines in us that we've kind of like dismissed over time, but I want you guys to remember that those are there and it's important to remember them. So if someone comments like Althea, like some that she's kind and she's nice and she's a hard worker, um, those are like great skills to have. And even though she knows these things, like this is just like part of who she is, um, it's good to acknowledge that other people are acknowledging that. Um, and with that being said, I also want to comment how important it is to not just like receive like praises or comments, but to give them out as well. So say your friend is like is amazing at braiding hair, for example. Um, she might know that, right? Because she does it a lot. But you commenting like, oh, the way you do it, or like, I like your style or this touch that you add to it. Those are really important to share out to people as well, because then they kind of are just like, yeah, I know, like Althea like knows that she's a hard worker and she's kind. But when other people say them, it comes from, it feels different. Um, so yeah, let me start wrapping up. Um, so as of all of you might be aware, the objective of this activity is to help each of you realize skills that you have, that you might not acknowledge, uh, are skills, or that you do not feel that these were skills before, but which almost are certainly are skills. Oftentimes, we fail to appreciate ourselves fully and have to realize that one of us has value and that everyone has something to contribute. So it's very important, to give feedback. So before we wrap up, I would just like us to share out one more time on, someone just share someone about someone in the group, that they might not know. Or sorry, let me phrase that differently. So comment on one of your group members and just, on something that you know about them, and like just say it to them, if that makes sense.
I think,
But sorry,
oh,
something that they're not like really aware of. Sorry.
that you aren't aware of or they
Yeah,
are.
that they may not be like aware of.
I think that Jessica A, the way she um talks, like I want to be able to talk like that. Like the words are in my brain, but they're
Hmm.
not coming out. Like I know what I want to say, but I don't know the words. And like she just like all the right words at the right time, like they just kind of flow out and I'm struggling in my brain, but no, she's good at that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Adding on to what Amanda said, Jessica, like you speak with such like calmness and like you don't like mumble up like any words or anything like that. It's like whatever you have in your head, it's seamless.
Yeah, it's kind
Really
of
like that.
unfair.
Well, I will tell you on my end, in my brain, everything sounds like I'm mumbling, and so the way I hear it is completely different than what you guys are hearing. But thank you. It's nice to hear like what's actually seen on the outside and not what I'm thinking everything sounds like. But I
Um,
will say, like Amanda and you and Althea, when you guys are like even answering the questions and Jess's group, like you seem so sure of what you're saying. And it's really it's kind of like the way that I hope I sound, but like you guys just seem like so sure of what you're saying, and it just kind of, I don't know, it just seems like you understand and you just got it.
Oh, well, that's the opposite of how I feel. So thanks.
Althea, would you like, or did you share out already?
I added on to it, Amanda.
Yes, yes, you did. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for participating in this. And just remember that like the skills that we have and that may be like an everyday thing, or you feel like they're just a part of you. Um, it's important to recognize that we have a bigger skill set and that we need to recognize those. And we also should recognize them in others so that they are aware of their strengths and values that they contribute. So that's all, guys. Thank you so much for participating and sharing out. You guys were amazing.
Thank you.
Bye.
Alrighty, we did it, you
Oh,
guys.
Yes.
20 minutes and 33 seconds.
Nice. All right, so all of us need to turn in the video link. So I'll just share out like I do every week. I'll send you guys an email later once the video kind of like, compresses because it
Yeah, it's gonna take it a little while.
yeah.
It is.
So keep a lookout for the email later. And then we just have that self-reflection. I feel like for the questions that we were supposed to talk about, I feel like we kind of talked about them at the end of each of our sessions.
Yeah.
I feel like all of us, like we each executed our activities really well. Like they were all kind of based on the same idea of like focusing on strengths and stuff, but in like a different way. So that's what I really liked. I feel like it all
Yeah.
worked out really well. And for each of y'all's activities, like I'm like taking mental notes of like, okay, I want to do this next time, or I want to do this for like a future class, because it's something that could be seen like so simple, but like it works. Like I really like it, especially like the note cards that Amanda used. Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I think one of the things like my brain thinking like once I was done facilitating, like there's so many things that like I would do different. Like that's like my brain like immediately was thinking like um give more time for other people's maybe to talk, ask
Yeah.
questions about what somebody else brought or, just like those after the effect things that start to come to your brain and it's like, dang, I should have done that. I should have done that. But I think like one of the biggest like reactions that I have like when we do these Zooms, especially like with this one is it would be so different if it was actually the elementary kids or
Yeah.
like playing that part and like trying to stay in that role is it's very very hard because like I immediately start talking to you guys because of things that I've learned about you in other group and then I'm like, well dang, they were supposed to be elementary kids and this is not even connecting to what it's supposed to be. But I think that's like one of the biggest like I wouldn't say a bad feeling about it. It's just like my mixed emotions when it comes to doing these. It's like I want to be talking to who I'm actually talking to. That way I can use, things that we've talked about before as conversation starters or even like I know Amanda, in the one that you're in, like when we did the tape scripts, it was a way of like opening up the session. We talked about this last time or something like that to where you could actually make those connections and know like, hey, I'm actually listening to you whenever we're talking previously. But with like the trying to be an elementary kid or something like that, it's very, very hard just to kind of be like, boom, jump into that role. So those are
Yeah.
like the things like my I guess reactions to like these experiences. Like I love talking with you guys and like doing everything. It's just that aspect of, okay, wait a minute, I can't actually say I know this about Althea or Amanda or Jess because they're supposed to be an elementary kid, and then it just kind of throws my whole like thought process in a different
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
Me too. I was thinking that, well, I didn't know what object to bring to share. Like, am I, an elementary kid?
Elementary, yeah.
But then also I know if this is going to be totally different when you get into a room full of fourth and fifth graders and you ask them if, how would you feel if you were given a monkey as a pet? I mean, the room's going to go crazy and,
Yeah.
so I don't know. It's just going to be totally, I guess we're like maybe the gifted and talented four kids out of the group. Maybe we can see it as that are always doing the right thing, saying the right thing. But yeah, it's going to be totally different with the
Mhm.
students.
Yeah, I agree. Like the student reactions would be, I would, I feel like I know how they would go down, but um, it's yeah, it is hard to stay in that role or that mindset, like, oh, go to being like a 10-year-old or
Mhm.
Yeah. Another thing would be like whenever I'm giving or where we're giving time to like draw something, it's kind of hard to like, I feel like if it's done in person, you can more or less like walk around or like see where
Mhm.
everybody's at. So that way you know how much time to give them. Because
Mm.
sometimes I feel like I don't give enough time, or sometimes I give too much time, or sometimes like the silence. Like I know leaving room for silence just for like everybody to take in what was just talked about, that's something that I'm still trying to work on because again, it's been kind of difficult, especially doing it like virtually, but I know that in person it's like a little bit easier. Like it comes off as more natural.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I think like you're saying, like you could see the papers of kids and stuff like that. And even like I was thinking, like when I did the, like the shout out of strength thing, it would be more like I would like to use one where it could be like, okay, now point to this person that you
Yeah.
saw it in, to where, you wouldn't have to be like, okay, you talk now, now you talk. So I mean, it would definitely bring in areas where it could be a lot more interactive, even though there wouldn't be as much talking, I guess, but there's so many things that you could actually walk around and see them doing, have them physically do,
Yeah.
actually in the moment and not on the virtual thing.
Yeah. All
Because
right.
this assignment would like, it kind of reminds me of like the ESLs, like that they try to get us to do at the beginning of the school year, and then they kind of stop looking for it. Um, but like recognizing their strengths, like that's an easy one that would go into a lesson. But then sometimes when I do that, it kind of becomes the lesson, and I don't touch the lesson I'm supposed to actually teach at the time. But these remind me, like this prompt of like recognizing their strengths or highlighting them, remind me of like the ESLs, just like a snippet of something we could do in class.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like we addressed everything possible for this week's activity. So
Hmm.
again, I'll send you guys this video, the link, and we each also have to do that self-reflection. So
Yeah.
I think that's all we need to submit. There's no group notes or anything like that from what I understand,
Mm,
Yeah, no.
right?
yeah, I
Okay,
didn't
cool.
see.
So
Yeah.
video and the self-reflection.
Yep.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording so that way, we can
Everything.
give it time to upload.
Hmm.